Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me here. My name is Rama Mamuaya. I'm from dailysocial.id. And today I will be presenting not knowledge, but just some of the few learnings that I have learned in the past until today, where we learn how corporate can become like startups. I personally believe that any organization in the world should act like a startup. And I will explain why. So for the past few years, Daily Social has been helping our corporate clients in some of their digital transformation and also corporate innovation effort, be it hackathon, startup matchmaking, ideathons, corporate accelerator incubators, and etc. And some of these activities, there's one silver lining. At the end of the day, we want to help corporate environment, corporate clients, to connect them with the startup ecosystem, be it founders, developers, data scientists, everything. Again, we personally believe this is our motto, this is at our office we have this engraved nicely, because this is what we truly believe. All organizations should act like a startup. And I will explain why. Because times are changing. Throughout the presentation, you'll see more and more Bob Dylan lyrics, because I love Bob Dylan. But again, times are changing. For the past few years, R&D spending for corporates are increasing over to 11.4%, a record high of $782 billion. And the number one most spent is actually on software and internet, 16.5%. The second runner-up is chemical and industrial engineering, is only like 3% or 4%. So the gap between number one and number two is really high. So people are more and more spending how they can adapt to the software, internet, and mobile space. And although the technology have evolved really fast, but that's not also the only scary part. With the change of technology, the behavior of customer is also changing. At the beginning of the session, you'll see how Mr. Rio Dewanto, the digital behavior, how millennial buy things, search things, send things, it's changing rapidly. And please remember that 5 years ago, it's not like today. It's totally different. Gojek's app is not even 5 years old. Gojek's app is 2014 or 2015. And now they're a multi-billion-dollar company. Not just Gojek as a company, but also how Gojek become an integral part of our behavior, consumer behavior. Some of the companies that we help, corporate companies that we help in terms of digital transformation, 60% among them, this is according to a research by 500 startups, 60% of corporates, they invest directly into startups as a part of their digital transformation effort. 48% is either merging or acquiring a startup that can potentially be a competitor in the near future. But there's a synergy that happens between the corporate and also the startups. But that's not the most popular activity. 77% actually have some sort of a startup partnership program, which is very popular, especially in Indonesia, where Daily Social is operating, and we've been helping a lot of our clients. Almost 90% we do this, some sort of a partnership between startups and corporate. And in Indonesia, it's not uncommon. There's a lot of corporates in Indonesia, they're already partnering with startups of some kind. And this is just what I can find within half an hour. There's plenty other more partnerships between corporate companies and startups. Every day there's going to be a new partnership launch, new press conferences, whatever. Now, what kind of partnership do these people have, especially in Indonesia? Well, there's three. The number one is hackathon, incubator, accelerator, and also service support. Hackathon, of course, I'm sure you're all familiar with hackathons. It's a good strategy to outsource ideas, how to inspire people. We've been helping BCA as well and Pak Arman with some of their hackathons. And one of the common things that these corporate clients are very happy about is they are very inspired. I never thought of that product because of the hackathon. Now I know, oh, there's a product. The first BCA hackathon that we did, there's an app, basically one of the participants for the hackathon, he built an app for arisan. I don't know bahasa Inggrisnya arisan apa ya, but it's for arisan, right? If we rely on Silicon Valley or China to come up with an app for that, nggak akan ada yang bisa. It's very Indonesian. Dan akhirnya aku juga, oh ya ternyata it makes total sense ya untuk bikin app buat arisan, tapi instead of ketemu, everything is online pakai sakuku waktu itu. And it's also very crucial for government. This is one of the hackathons we did for Pemda Jakarta. And also for some other banks as well, Bank BTN. Some companies also do incubator, accelerator. Plug and Play is very popular here, connecting Silicon Valley startups with, Indonesian startup with Silicon Valley mentorship. Indigo by Telkom, we have Pak Heri here, who's leading the effort as well. Also one of the most popular technology hackathon, accelerator in the world is from one of the biggest banks, of course, Barclays. And the third one is service support, and this is where it gets interesting. Service support, basically, if you're a corporate and you see there's a lot of issues inside the company that need solving, instead of solving it yourself, you partner with startups that basically dedicate its whole life solving that one particular issue. If you have a logistical problem, for example, rather than solving it yourself and it takes years, expensive, not guaranteed success, partner with a logistical company who has all the system. That's all they do. They focus on doing and solving that one particular issue, and they will help you solve that problem. And this is also popular, getting more and more popular. One of the biggest one is from Union Bank in Nigeria. Although Union Bank in Nigeria is, third world country, but in terms of corporate innovation, they're actually one of the best. So if you can Google it and read some case studies on Union Bank Nigeria and their startup connection effort, it's really good stuff right there. So they connect with startups as well. And just a few months ago, DBS announced Startup Exchange, where they open application for startups who want to partner with them and solve particular issues inside the company. And this is just for their Singapore and Hong Kong office. So what's the result? For corporate clients, 85% actually happy because they learn something new. Corporate clients are used to bureaucracy and methodology of doing things, and startups don't have that. I just want to focus on solving issue, building solution. I don't care about bureaucracy, which is also refreshing for corporate clients. Oh, you can do it, in 3 steps instead of 10, for example. 80% actually solve business problems in new ways that can scale. One of the key advantage of being a corporate is you're very, very big. You have scale. So it's actually a win-win solution. As a corporate, you help patch a problem. From a startup point of view, now I can scale my product. So win-win. And 81% said it improves efficiency because they only focus on solving issues, solving problems that they know only they can solve. So corporate must transform, which is why we're all here. How? I believe that all corporates, all organizations should embrace the startup way. And the startup way is not about sneakers and late night karaoke, although go ahead and do that, but it's not just about that. I love when Pak Martin said earlier today that it's about the mindset. Pak Rudianto also mentioned it's about the mindset, which is very, very true. Startup way is not about anything if not the mindset and the culture. Let's take a look one by one. When it comes to mindset, what are the mindset that a startup is? Differentiates a startup from a corporate. So number one is data-driven. It doesn't use gut feeling, it uses data. Second one is experimental. Now, data-driven, a lot of corporates these days, they use data-driven approach when it comes to decision making, but when it comes to experimentation, it's really hard. They have this thing called risk management, which is important, of course, but it's important also to let loose and to embrace failure, which is the hardest part of being a corporate. The third point is consumer-centric. Most corporate these days, they are process-centric. This is how we do things for the last 20 years, 30 years, and the consumer will have to adapt to that, because that's how we do things. That's not the case when you're a startup. We have no bureaucracy, atau bahasanya itu lebih baik minta maaf ketimbang minta izin gitu ya. Apologize later. As long as I can deliver a solution that actually solves our customer's problem. Again, Bob Dylan also said that it's very important to unlearn, define nothing. Why are you doing things this way? Well, it's been done like this for 20, 30 years. I'm not going to change. I'm retiring in 5 years. That's not the way to go. With that kind of mindset, a startup, dedicated startup with dedicated team, they will salvage you, become your biggest competitor, and we've already seen that. All the unicorns that Pak Rudiantara mentioned earlier today, they not just solve a problem, they solve massive problem, big problem, not taken care by transportation companies, retail companies. Now they are some of the biggest companies in Indonesia. So let's talk about culture. What's the culture of being in a startup? This is what I think really matters when it comes to corporate employees. Is that culture of having initiatives. The culture of transparency. The culture of risk tolerance, again, because we're doing lots and lots of experimentations. But the final point is to have speed. All these four factors really differentiates a startup company from a corporate. If you want to be successful corporate when it comes to digital transformation, you have to ask yourself, do my team have all these 4 points? If not, you have a lot of things to fix. Again, the topic of the day, the startup age is the new age. And a lot of companies are doing this already throughout the world. But the big question remains, kenapa sih susah banget for corporate companies to innovate? Well, there's one simple answer. Because the cost of making a mistake is too high. When you launch a product, you don't just launch a product, you dedicate a full year of developing the product, testing the market, research. So when you launch, you want to be successful. So the key of successful digital transformation is making the cost of mistake as low as possible. So let's talk about how. The startup way, we have a few points. First, a small and agile team. Instead of one linear, hierarchical team organization, startups focus on small product teams between 5 to 10 people. All these individual teams, they are focused on solving one problem and one problem only, and don't care about anything else besides solving that particular problem. And it has to be agile, it has to be fast, it has to be speed. Speed is crucial. And the mentality of it's okay to fail as long as you don't fail at the same spot. Fail fast, fail forward. Again, it's about making the cost of mistake as low as possible. In 2004, Lego was, we all know Lego, very popular toy company. In 2004, they were facing bankruptcy because of the sales decline throughout the world. So they tried to come up with some innovation for toys. And they focused on building small, agile teams. So they built 20 teams consisting of 15 to 20 people to come up with ideas and execute that idea. Some of them come up with mobile app. Some of them came up with a partnership with movie, with Disney, which we all saw the movie, which is amazing. And apparently, just those two activities, those two teams, come up with the best idea ever. And now Lego is just as big, profitable company, and saving them from bankruptcy. All from the idea of a small 20 people team. With Agile team, this is according to a research by Sloan, MIT, when it comes to velocity, it increases the velocity inside a corporate system by 200%. It's an amazing change of pace. And 75% increases the innovation cycle. So instead of coming up with new innovation every 5 years, they come up with 10 every year, which is important. So let's take a look at some of the characteristics of a successful corporate innovation strategy. Number one, it has to be unique, it has to be relevant. In 2014, DHL, the logistical company, they come up with a crowdsourcing solution in Denmark, where people can, if you want to make extra money, I want to deliver, oh, I'm on my way there, so let's see if I can get a package and get my, my gas money, basically. Mirip kayak gosen, tapi more loose. That increases the engagement, that increases the loyalty, and it's something that can work only in Denmark, only executed by DHL. This was in 2014. So it's very unique. It has to come up with, from within the company, idea, and they know how to execute, very relevant as well. The second one is it has to achieve the strategic goal of the company. The vision of the company needs to be translated into the corporate innovation strategy. Now this is easier said than done, because you have to do lots and lots of experiment before you can come up with an actual working and relevant strategic goal. The third one, which is very simple, but it's probably the hardest one to do, is you have to make sure that the innovation cycle is sustainable and it's produced by a small, agile, autonomous team. And they don't have control over these teams. These teams just focus on delivering new stuff, new ideas, new products, and they can run by themselves. So even though the management changes, the vision is still the same, this team will keep producing all the good ideas, all the good stuff, all the good products, good innovation ideas. Now I want to end my session with, of course, another quote by Bob Dylan, which I think is super powerful, that he who not busy being born or busy dying. So make sure your corporate company or your organization is being born every day. Thank you.